Welcome to the Evening Gamer. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Guy. Welcome, everybody.
Back again. Still haven't nailed down intros.
I think we have. I think we've got a nice little roll in here. You know, we're back again. We're doing a review episode. We're moving from a rant to now a party up episode. We're back doing a review episode.
Back to our roots. Just need to get back to schedule.
Yeah, that's been a challenge.
It has.
Sort of for anybody who's kind of going, why is there a delay on us posting an episode? You know, life occurs.
It does.
You know, we're committed to the cause here, but geez, sometimes things get in the way.
We are. What's happened this week? Stock market shut itself.
Well, yeah, you know.
See that?
Yeah, I did.
Unemployment rates in the US. Everyone overreacted, moved their money to safe havens.
Yeah, well, I mean, the US is hard to avoid in the news at the moment.
It is.
The politics is really heating up.
So
it's very
much
interesting.
Going on. Yeah, that's right. Old mate dropped out.
Dropped out. Yeah, Biden dropped out. They got the Kamala Harris in
Kamala's
there.
back in there.
Yeah. And then,
who doesn't seem to be favourable at the minute, which I thought she was. I thought as a vice president she was, but...
So she's now beating Trump in the polls. So she's up on him, and she picked a guy to be her running mate, her VP pick, and Trump picked his VP pick. Have you heard the couch story?
No.
Okay, so...
There's always something fucking new with this guy.
Oh, mate. No. So this isn't even Trump. This is his number two. So he's picked a guy called J.D. Vance, who once called Trump like the new Hitler of America or something.
That's not good.
Criticized Trump before. And he comes in and everybody's like, okay, who is this guy? And he wrote a book years ago. And somebody posted a meme that in his book, he told a story about being at a frat party and all these guys having sex with a couch. So now everyone's referring to him as the couch fucker, and there's all these memes about it.
I mean, there's sometimes in life you make your own bed.
Well, make your own couch. But he didn't. But it's not true. Like it's completely fabricated. But now he's literally got to defend the fact that he didn't have sex with a couch, and he's like, I'm not gonna do that because I never did.
There's no Twitter posts.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And so now the VP pick for Kamala did his first rally or whatever, and he was like, I'm happy to debate JD Vance, but only if he gets off the couch.
It's so weird to me because politics is just, for me, not the place to just be having puns at each other.
Hey, it's like we're in an alternate timeline.
Show.
It's gotten silly. It's like
a reality show sometimes, just watching what's going on over there.
It is. It is. It's
like Australian
wild.
Politics is like Albanese just jumping on Zoom with our Olympians at the moment. And then you go over to the US and Trump and Kamala are fucking having it out over their vice president.
It's funnily enough, the Australian politics is it is actually sometimes interesting when you watch Question Time, but it's all very almost Edwardian formal and it's like
which is kind of how it should
debate,
be.
Which but then you watch the American stuff and it's like,
whoa,
dudes getting shot in the ear randomly.
There's like a tally. There's like a tally of who's won up to the other person more times.
It's bloody wild.
That directly translates into being favourable in the polls, which is just crazy.
Who knows the best voice clip of teasing someone? And it's like, oh, he's up in the polls now.
It's kind of, I don't want to say this, but it's kind of just been a little bit of a circus since.
Well, it's been
Obama.
Well, yeah. I mean,
even he fucked so much shit up with the healthcare and the water happening in Michigan and all that type of stuff. He anyway.
Careful.
Stock market
We'll
crashed.
turn into a politics.
That happened. What else? I've been playing a hell of a lot of Elden Ring DLC. I actually restarted a run through because I did it in the wrong order.
Oh shit!
So yesterday I had to restart a run through, which meant beating the base game and then going back to get to the point where I could launch the DLC. Nice. So that took 10 hours.
Jesus.
Anyway, totally worth it.
How many run-throughs are you up to now in Elden Ring?
That was my 6th of the base game. Thinking I might just try and platinum it now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't already, to be honest.
I mean, you don't have platinum on Xbox. There's no achievement for that. I wish they brought it in, but there is an achievement for getting all the achievements, which is basically platinuming a game, right?
Yeah. So
I've been doing that. You've been playing Alan Wake 2?
I have been, yeah. After I finished Spider-Man 2, I went through a bit of a gaming, not hiatus, but I want to do a rant episode on this topic, so I won't talk too much about it, but it took me a little bit to discover my next game.
Yeah.
And I've had the DLC for Elden Ring sitting there looking at me, and I've played a few minutes of it, and I just... In the mind I'm at the moment, I really struggled to commit to it, and I wanted something that was probably a little bit more story-driven, I think, than maybe what Elden Ring, because I know what Elden Ring's going to be. It's going to be.
I'm loving the lore in Elden Ring now.
But I just know what it is, and I just wanted something.
I tried to keep up with that, and now I'm thinking of building like a fucking almost like a family tree of that lore.
Of how it works. Yeah, that'd probably
like
be really good to
Marika
see.
betraying Mikola trying to do the right thing, fucking Margaret taking over the land, the realm between and all that. It's actually quite convoluted.
It is very convoluted, but it was just something about like knowing what I was gonna be in store for.
Yeah.
I wanted something fresh and new. Like I was riding a high off the back of Spider-Man 2, feeling like that was a really good story. I wanted something similar to that. Came across Alan Wake 2, really enjoying it thus far. I do have some criticisms of it, but just the design, I think it's on a new engine or something because it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like really visually impressive.
And from what you've told me, I'm happy they've taken it where they have. Because like the first game, as I said, it was really mundane.
Yeah.
Like even just from a creativity perspective, it was so mundane in terms of your interaction with the gameplay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they've taken it to another level, which
like
is
that company,
exactly what they needed to do.
I'm quite impressed by that company. I mean, they did Control. I rated that really highly.
Yeah.
Alan
It's
Wake
got a
2 is
lot of those
good.
elements in it. And you can see it.
I think they've really kind of perfected it. I would almost say Alan Wake 2 is their best thus far. Very impressive.
Yeah, nice. Kind of their pin-up game at the moment. Wukong comes out 12
Soon.
days from right now.
Yeah, nice.
August
nice.
20th. I'm so excited for that. Gameplay looks insane. We know how much of a trap that can be, but it does look good. I think the story will be good, and it's Souls-like. So anything Souls-like, I'm right there.
Hearing good things. Good things. Unlike the new Star Wars game, which there's sort of you look at it and it's like all these reviewers are like, it's good, it's this, and you're like, how much did Ubisoft pay you? Like,
I know.
What are you taking under the table here to say it's a good game to try and up their fucking sales?
So true. And even so today we're doing Deathloop.
Yes, we are. Deathloop is today's game.
The first person roguish like shooter, Deathloop. We'll get into it in a moment.
Yep. Published by Bethesda, developed by Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane Leon. Yeah.
Yep. And it's in our last Party Up episode, we sort of finished with me trying to remember the name of a game of one that I thought you would enjoy, which is Dishonored.
Yeah.
Which in doing the research of this game, I've discovered is in the same universe as Deathloop. They're set hundreds of years apart.
Yeah, crazy.
Which was a nice little tidbit that I saw there. But so Deathloop, I've played it to a point.
Yeah. I've played it completely through. Before we get to that, though, we've got some write-ins.
We do have some write-ins, that we do need to address. First from Cyber Ferret, he's really enjoying the Aussie content.
Yeah,
very much appreciate that. There's sort of, I think when we started talking about doing this pod, we kind of felt that there was a bit of a niche here that was lacking. That especially in the Australian kind of market, you can find plenty of websites that do game reviews, but not too much sort of podcast talking about gaming in the style that we're doing.
Podcasts with direction, which is what we've spoken about quite a bit, is we wanted clear direction. And I think towing the line between being Australian and also making this digestible for like internationally has been a nuance for us.
Yeah.
But I think we're navigating it pretty well.
Yeah, I think, it's probably spending too much time chatting about Australian sport might do us under a little bit. But,
well, we just spoke about US politics.
Well, true, US politics.
We are versatile.
We like things. We got a wide range of things.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Cyber Ferret. Thanks for writing in, mate.
Yeah, appreciate that write-in. Yeah. Do you ever remember there was like an ABC show, Good Game, I think it was, and it was on the show in sort of the late 90s, early 2000s, I think it was, and they would review games, and it was on the ABC, and that's like the only thing I think I've seen.
Was it AB? I remember one being on, was it like a Cheese TV kind of thing? Maybe that was just ABC, and it was the two of them, it was the guy and the girl?
It was a guy and the girl,
I remember that. Okay, yeah, so it was ABC. Yeah, I used to tune in for that every now and then.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good.
It was a bit... I don't know, all the outlets that I've tried to engage with from a gaming perspective have always been, I don't know, a bit cookie cutter, a bit difficult.
This is where I was going with it, that like so many of these kind of things you watch and they only ever really talk positives. Yeah. You never really hear them bash a game and talk honestly and kind of rip it to pieces and go, come on guys, like this is a piece of shit. This is a money-making enterprise at its core.
Yeah, exactly right. We also had another write-in from Ben,
who
should we say his last name? Absolutely not.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit. How many Bens may there be in the world? I don't know, but it made me laugh because I was like, my surname and his surname are probably pretty similar. I was like, maybe we're distant relatives.
You just haven't said your surname on the pod yet.
I feel like people can find
Ben.
me.
You can blame Guy for that.
Yeah,
one.
sorry, mate.
Thanks so much for your writing, mate. He also said that his favourite weapon was the Leviathan
from God of War.
From God of War, which is something that a lot of people have said.
I was going to say, like...
amongst yourself. You said that as well.
So I remember buying the PS4 specifically for God of War. That was the thing in the nail's coffin to make me switch from Xbox and get both consoles.
Get both consoles is so...
I know.
So rogue.
Because that game, I was like, God of War was the game for me growing up. I had huge nostalgia. To see them do this new vibe of it, I was so impressed. And then the way they actually did it, that axe had like it, when you threw it and felt the clunk in the when it came back to your hand is such a, the
ASMR of gaming is actually underrated.
Oh, yeah.
Like the hit markers in COD, they used to be like you get a one-shot kill with the sniper, that hit marker and the vibration on the controller was so satisfying.
I think it's such an underrated thing that people talk about of just the feedback you get to the hand.
Yeah.
Of when something happens and you feel really quite satisfied and you get the, vibration, you're like, that's fucking sick.
It is a game. That's what you play games for.
But I don't think people really talk about it in how addictive that part of it is.
Yeah.
It almost, with God of War, you almost only really wanted to use that weapon because of how it felt.
How hard it slapped.
Because it fucking slapped.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the write-in, Ben. You gave us some feedback. We've read we've heard it.
There
we understand the tidbit you included in there of being too generous.
I did like his generous comment because
something we've spoken
that's
about.
What Kyle said as well. Sometimes we give it too high of a mark sometimes. And
we have gone back and made some adjustments to particular ratings.
We did, yeah. There was a couple that we
slightly.
felt were, probably overscored.
Yeah. But I think I'm happy with the leaderboard, and I think we're getting a lot better at it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, specifically once we started working in the fields that we do of the split bracket, storyline, counter weighting with world building, field mechanics, challenge entertainment, character dev, build, loot, extras, it does prevent us
There's
from
a lot going on.
Overselling it on one single column.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Remembering to remain objective as often as we can.
Yeah.
He also said that his favorite mobile game was Fallout Shelter, which I'm not familiar with.
I mean, we haven't talked about mobile games in a little while. I recently downloaded one, and my partner was laughing at me for playing this silly little fucking game. And you could pay to increase the
Of course you can. We ranted about this.
So the game was like you roll a dice, and based on it was like a roguelike game. I don't even remember what it was called. And I played it, and it was $15 to get the full version. And she doesn't know this. She's sitting in the room, and yes, I did pay the $15.
Sometimes I don't mind it.
Ask me how much have I played it since I spent the $15? Not a single fucking second.
Really?
Yeah, I literally paid $15 and I haven't played it since.
That's not good.
I've just kept thrown away money. I've lit money on fire. That's what I've done.
Well, yeah, thanks so much for the write-ins, lads and ladies. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Fallout Shelter, I did play that one a little bit, just going back to Ben's comment. And it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's just a classic, like, builder Fallout Shelter. And the thing that I really like about Fallout is the tongue-in-cheek world they do.
Yeah.
It's like the world's an apocalypse, but then, you build this Fallout Shelter and you're forcing them to have kids and, like, it's sort of entertaining.
Such a good game, man. Maybe we review the Fallouts at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're
just a bit older as well. But it's so topical with the show.
Because we haven't done God of War. There's a whole pantheon of games that we kind of haven't.
Pantheon, what a word! Word of the day.
Word of the day that I haven't gone to yet, purely just because there hasn't been a version as of late. It would be a bit weird to do God of War 1. When God of War 2's come out. Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of the PS exclusives that I haven't done yet. I want to do Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think we did a full review on that.
I'm surprised you haven't yet.
Well, the DLC, I never played the DLC, so I'm going to play that, and then we'll do the full game.
Love it.
There's also Horizon Forbidden West.
Yes.
That
I was
DLC
talking to a workmate about that game today.
I want to give that a go.
That's largely popular.
Yeah, so there's a couple of games there that are in the back catalogue, and those DLCs won't take long.
Much more content to come.
Yes, but let's talk Deathloop.
Like, follow, leave a review.
Yes.
And write in if you got the time.
And next time we won't read out your full name.
Let's hook in. Yeah. Well, I might be able to edit that out. Let's hook in here.
Yes.
So not to repeat ourselves, but Deathloop, developed by Akron Leon and published by Bethesda. It's the September 2021 roguelike first-person shooter called Deathloop. You're an assassin trapped in a time loop. That's basically the short and the long of it. Let's get into the long of it. Every morning you wake up on the same beach and you have the next 24 in-game hours to piece together clues, loot, weapons, abilities, and most importantly, intel on how to break the cycle. Now, there's 8 targets in the game called visionaries, consisting of scientists, members of the elite, and artists who basically want to achieve immortality and keep this loop going. The targets are scattered over 4 areas throughout 4 times of the day. And to break the loop, if any are left alive by the end of the day, they reset it. So to break it, you have to essentially assassinate them all. Now, whilst making your way through different areas, you'll uncover different ways to bait certain visionaries into being in the same area, or uncover schedules that overlap, and in there lies your solution. You've got to kind of play detective, figure out who's going to be where, sync them up, maybe kill 2 at the same time, 3 at the same time. But I think there's like 1 of 5 ways to do this, but that's essentially what you're trying to achieve. This is made all the more harder because there's actually an assassin within the visionary team called Juliana. She's the most powerful, skillful, and quick. She's incredibly cunning, and her spawn is actually RNG or procedurally generated, so it can happen at any time of the day in any area, and she will do everything she can to kill you, including sniping you from 300 yards away. So and there's a lot happening.
There's a multiplayer aspect where another player can play as Juliana and invade your games and then take you out of that loop for that day.
Which I love. Like, I've always struggled with multiplayer games. Like, so irregularly are we lined up on the games that we're playing.
I know, yeah.
But like, if we were, that would have been a hell of a time.
You would have made me put the game down faster than I did already.
Make it that much harder.
Fuck you too.
She's hard enough as a fucking NPC.
God.
But yeah, look, I, off the bat, thoroughly enjoyed this game. I think it's pretty well polished. I understand there's some limitations in terms of the amount of areas that we're going to get into, something that didn't sit that well with you, but yes. I really enjoyed it. Let's get into the pillars.
Yes, let's. Well, yeah, so, as we mentioned before, you finished it. I got pretty far into it, and you've nailed it on the head of what my largest criticism of the game is. But it's interesting that, like, as we were teeing up to do this episode, I kind of came in saying, I didn't rate it, didn't finish it. But now that I've actually written it out in the pillars, I think it will be a fairly favorable review at the end of it all. Just the one element that kind of just made me put the game down and not pick it back up again was the sameness of the areas. It's like I got to a point where I was like running through the same area for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time, and it wasn't new enough. It didn't change enough. I feel like this game would have really benefited, but it would have been so much harder to code if it was new areas every time.
But I like that in gaming. I like sometimes that you have the same thing you like the same objective in the same area, but you're discovering new ways to do it.
Yeah,
it's such a niche thing that doesn't happen that often. Like, you play any game today, and it's like you need to beat this boss to do that. You need to go up this hill. Like, it's all, even open world games, you get to a point where it's the same thing over and over again until you achieve it. But with a game like this, it's like, okay, I'll be down at the docks and it's morning. I'm going to try a different entry point.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it with different guns and different skills.
Yeah.
Try and achieve the same thing in many different ways. And something I liked about Deathloop is the stealth element of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's best played.
The stealth is good.
Yeah.
No doubt. And I will come to it a little bit later on, but I think I've just realized why we had different experiences in this game.
Go on.
So when I play games, any area that I go into in a game, I explore every inch of it before I do the objective, because I'm a completionist. So before the loop really even starts, when you're doing the tutorial shit, I'd explored every inch of the fucking island.
You've just exhausted daylight.
I've exhausted it, So like, if you're going to play this game, hot tip off the top, do the objectives at the priority. Do not explore hard early.
No, definitely. And the game will nudge you in the right areas.
Yeah.
Like, if you do it the wrong way, to say, no, not going to work. And then you go, okay, well, what can I achieve for the rest of this loop? I'll do the other 3 areas at 3 different times, see the skills that I can get, see who's where.
Yeah. By the 4th playthrough, I'm like, I've already reached this locked door and I have made it no further into this locked place. And I'm now getting frustrated that I haven't done something in another area to open this thing up. So I just kind of hit a wall of exploration that I'd reached far too early for the game.
Yeah. I think I really like the kind of the mystic element of things that are in a loop. Like, that everything in that game is the same as it was every single time, but there's huge possibility.
Variety, yeah.
Which is something that I really like. And something I actually researched heading into this is movies that are like this.
Yeah.
Movies that are hinged on this idea of being in a loop. And here's a couple of them, a couple of my favorites. Palm Springs.
Great one.
Great movie.
Andy Samberg.
He makes that movie.
I love Andy Samberg, but there's
his
something about him.
It's his temperament. I fucking love it. It's his laissez-faire temperament. It's such a good film.
So like the funniest thing, if we were to do like a review on Andy Samberg's acting thing, you'd literally go, he plays the same guy in just about everything he's in, but he's so watchable that I don't care. Like it's one of those actors.
Kind of happy to be there, but not really at the same time. Like that's his character.
Know, like his Brooklyn Nine-Nine character and his that movie character. You're like, it's pretty similar.
Like, I don't know. I'll wing it and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of others. Pyramid.
I don't know Pyramid.
It's where they like have to go through the ship. She doesn't know she's in a loop for like half the film.
You sure it's called Pyramid?
I think it's called Pyramid.
Is this the one where it's a ship on like the seas or something? And like
I'm pretty sure. It's called Triangle. Sorry, my bad.
Thank you. I was like,
it's called Triangle. I should have actually looked up.
Groundhog Day,
and The Endless. And the four that I have.
What was the Edge of Tomorrow?
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, famous.
There you go. So if you wanted some movies.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. I feel like it's a whole
get in some
genre now of this.
I love
this
it.
Recycled time kind of thing. One famous one was Looper with that was a good one.
Yes.
Or was it? No, that wasn't the same day, but that was sort of a little bit.
That was kind of like time travel, and everything happened on one day that they had to keep revisiting.
Yeah. There's Primer, Predestination.
Oh my God, you have way more than I do.
You know I'm a movie buff. I got a few of these lined up.
But I really like that. Like my favorite game is Outer Wilds, which is the same premise.
Which is okay.
In a time loop, figure it out. I don't know. I love it. I love the discovery of it. As someone that likes combat-based games as well, Outer Wilds had none of it, but just the sheer discovery element of it.
I mean, those there's a number of Hades is one where there's a lot of replayability in it. There's plenty of games. The one of the ones I scored really, really high that we were playing on the PS5. God, what was it called? What was the one I keep talking about? God, I keep forgetting where you're on the PS5. Fuck,
it'll come to you.
No, but I'm on record as saying I really enjoy these types of games. So this is definitely a tick for me in the right column, that would increase the score here.
Yeah. But storyline as a pillar, though, look, there was a bit of banter between you and Juliana. You really knew none of the other visionaries. Most of them were knobs, so you had no problem fucking killing them. Storyline. Look, it was kind of a very simple premise. It just the game is basically a time loop, and you're not happy about it. That's the storyline. Now that also plays into world build. Fucking Siri's yelling at me. That this pillar also comes into world build, which I was actually a big fan of. 4 levels. Like at some point, a game has to have limitations and has to play into its own hands, and I think they actually did that pretty well. So there was a bit of variety there in terms of the time of day that you could be in a particular area, but there were only 4 areas. It's not your favorite thing to be included in a game, but I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so for me with storyline world building, I found it interesting. It was a unique world, the 8 different targets, the fact their locations change, the whole company that is set up on this island, the tidbits of information you discover along the way. I felt it was really good. I felt this was a strong category for the game. The visionaries and how they interact with one another.
Yes, true.
Storyline sort of, and obviously often storyline gets crossed with character development, cults development in the game, good guy, bad guy, why is it him having the time over again and waking up on the beach?
Yeah.
I felt were really strong elements of this game, and partly what probably drew me in. I think Bethesda is very good and,
at creating characters.
I
think they're very good at creating characters. Yeah, like, I mean, the Doom guy is one of their most memorable, and he's a sick gun.
I mean, I think they inherited Doom from the OG, but obviously turned it into a whole sort of thing.
Yeah, true. Feel and mechanics. Now, this is a pillar that actually scored very highly for me in this game. I loved the feel of this game. The combat was nice. The abilities that you picked up along the way, some of them served you a lot. And like most games, some you didn't even look at a second time. But like the movement capabilities, the movement tech that was in this, the invisibility, the binding, you could bind different enemies together and only shoot one of them, and they all felt the same.
That was cool.
Like, I think that, from a movement tech perspective, the first person shooter, the different guns that you had, the mechanics was really, really strong pillar for me.
Yeah, so I've agreed with you generally with this, of saying the unique weapons I thought were really cool. Obviously, that comes into a bit of the loot side of things, but you found really unique weapons, the slabs, the skills that you get from them, the whole mechanic of how you have to obtain vibranium or whatever the fuck it is to carry over weapons and skills into the next playthrough. Smart. I liked it, how they built it into the game.
Yes.
That was clever. This is the pillar, though, where I have placed, because it is mechanic-based, the replayability. This is where I've marked it down within this pillar alone. So everything else I thought was high. So this is, when we get to doing our ratings, I've marked it slightly down purely just based on the 4 areas, 4 times of day. They do change, but you do just feel like there's a...
Meaning that you got a little bit bored.
A little bit bored.
Okay. I didn't.
Yeah, but I think this is coming back to what I said before of the fact I explored everywhere. You know, so like if somebody had said this to me before I started playing, of going, don't fucking do that this time, of go down every alleyway, every doorway, every window, you know, I looked at every lock, you know, in that first area. So then, and that's the same area you go back to that you start most of the days in. You're just like, bro, what are you doing?
I've discovered this playing Elden Ring DLC, and From Software is good at this. Every time you enter a new area, there's always a fucking fork in the road. One way goes one way, and like one way goes north and one way goes south. And it almost just makes me anxiety riddled as to like, why am I being fucking, why do I have to choose? Like, and then you know what I always do is I pick a way and I go maybe 20 steps and then I change my fucking mind and I go the other way.
I thought you were about to explain like a fork in a road. You go, you're at a fork in a road and it goes 2 ways.
No, it's like, yeah. And I think at some point in a game, you can't do it all. You just got to pick a way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see where you end up. And often you end up coming 360 anyway. Because games are built like that.
Yeah, no, too true. So yes, let's move on to challenge and entertainment. So has challenging moments, particularly if you go loud, you know, and get really aggressive with the attacks. But if you're quiet and you work your way through, still challenging at times. And particularly when you get the blink capability and you're sort of jumping through areas and changing, I thought that was really clever. And you can sort of open up new areas of the map by doing the blinking, which is building the map world around the skills that you inherit, which I thought was clever.
Yeah. I also think that if you fuck up your stealth run, if you're doing a stealth run, they actually make it pretty challenging to become kind of incognito again. Yeah. Like you need quite a bit of skill. You have to do quite a bit of...
You have to kill a lot of people to get back into a silent. You have to really kind of,
scurry away.
Which is why like the RNG of, what's her tits coming into the game?
Juliana,
excuse me. Her coming into the game makes it really tough because you don't know when it's going to happen. You're going to be mid-stealth and then you've been invaded and she's hunting you.
And you don't know where she is.
You're like, God, I'm not in a good place to have this attack. I'm about to kill a visionary, and then they get alerted.
She's always on rooftops. She's always on a fucking rooftop with that gun. She's really powerful. She's got a lot of health. Yeah. Yeah. And it just, and you know what's funny is you need that to happen. To kill all of them, you need to
have her.
Yeah, you need to have her invade. And like that, knowing that it needs to happen and you're kind of waiting for it and it can happen at any moment, I actually really enjoyed. Such a good little twist of the tale there.
Yes, agreed.
But in terms of, challenge, I definitely thought it was challenging. People can kill you. They will. If you get in the wrong spot, you will die. You'll have to do it again. Yeah. I thought the enemy builds, the weapons that they have, it was rather intuitive in terms of gunfighting. It wasn't just like sometimes you play COD and it's just spastics running around. It wasn't like that. They held cover and made a good gunfight. So from a challenge perspective, I liked it. And that kept me entertained, to be honest. There's so many nooks and crannies in this game. There's 10 different ways to kind of access the same place if you do some exploring in a measured fashion, guy. Yes. But another pillar that I thought was pretty polished.
Yeah, I haven't marked it down too much in this area at all. I think it was really, really, it was challenging at times. It was entertaining for the most part. Entertainment, again, I feel like I probably marked it down just because I felt it stagnated in certain sections. But anyway, moving on. Character dev and build.
Did you end up figuring out how to do it? Did you end up figuring out who's going to be where and how to do this at this time?
I think I was on maybe my 5th run through of the times of days in the areas, and I'd probably killed maybe 4 or 5 visionaries in a run, and then was hitting the evening and having to reset them all again. And I think I was starting to really level up a lot of the skill sets and had a really good build of various weapons that I'd gotten off the visionaries. But it was just like you hit nighttime and you go like, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning with all the good things that I've collected over the course of my last run through, but I'm back in probably the same area I just did in the last one. It's not going to be that different, and I'm only incrementally pushing the story forward. And because I'd explored so hard, that incremental increase wasn't enough to keep me hooked.
You know what I loved about this game is the more you gathered intel, the more you discovered about these visionaries. So like, not to give too much of a spoiler, but this is one thing I liked about the game is that you actually didn't have to murder them to kill them. So like, there were two of them that were having an affair.
Yes, I remember.
And they used to meet in this one spot, and by that time, all the ice had melted by the end of the day.
Yes.
And if you could lock them in there, they would drown.
Okay.
And so that would happen at a different point in time. You didn't actually have to put a bullet in their head. Right. And I think that like that just plays into the detective element of it. Like if you want to figure something out, if you want to figure out a storyline, this was a fucking great game for it.
Yeah, I did find like, I think I started touching on like the menu UI navigation, and this was the game that kind of felt a little bit cumbersome when I first came in, of so many objectives and weapon objectives.
Well, let's use that as a chance. Let's use that as a segue into character development and build. Because the kind of the UI, the abilities that you get, the carryover that you're able to have in terms of your slab, that's very much character build.
Yeah, I would say, the character build of the RPG element of what weapons you use, what slabs you use, you know, I would agree with you in leveling them up over the course of the journey. I think this area does play quite strongly once you establish how the game operates and what is the systems and means by which to actually play the game and it functions. But that I'm just like, and this is not a particular grievance on Deathloop, it's more sort of the rant side of things, of just when you first enter the game and you just get blasted with menus on menus of UIs.
Yeah, I get that.
It takes you a minute. It's jarring.
You know what it's like? It's like when you explain a new card game to someone. Yeah, and a couple of drinks.
Good analogy.
Sitting around a table, you know how to do it, but you've got to get someone else up to speed.
Yeah.
And you know that it's worth it because when they understand it, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it's like. Is like you take just someone that is new to it, a new brain, and you try and thrust all of this information into that brain in such a short amount of time, and then you do a play run through of the game, and they don't get it. The second time it's the same, and then the third time they go, okay, I'm kind of getting this. And there's an element of that in every new game.
I love it. So my brother's a big board game nut, and he always has a new board game he'll have us play, and he'll teach you the rules, and you're sort of falling asleep as he's explaining the rules to you. You start playing it, you get invested in it, and then he wins, and you're like, you never fucking mentioned that in the instructions, brother. Like, you missed that trick.
Cheeky devil. That is such a your family thing to do.
Yeah.
Hey, here are some of the rules.
Well, no, that's Chris.
I won't tell you about my loopholes.
My brother would get really amped up by that. He'd be like, "What a defamation this is!" But there's been times where we're playing board games, and I'll catch my dad cheating across the table, and I'm cheating the exact same way, and I'm calling him out by it.
That's crazy. I'll just walk away from the game board table if that was.
Thankfully we haven't had any table flips in a while. Yeah.
Character development and build. I liked Colt. I think his internal monologue was fucking hilarious. He did not want to be there at all. He hated waking up on that beach every single time. Yeah. But his banter with Juliana was great. When he killed people, he had great quips.
Yeah.
Good character.
I was playing it on the PS5, and the radio part of the game, it comes out of the controller, which is quite
nice.
Random, where you're playing. What the fuck is that noise?
I forgot those controllers have that.
Look, character dev, I liked it. The various visionaries, their various skills, the mysteries, you know, how they entwine with one another. Good. Colt, good character, enjoyed it. Juliana coming into it was good. The mods, the weapons, the attachments that all factor into the build.
And the upgrades, everything like that.
This
really
would
solid.
be a really strong category.
Yeah,
very high marks.
I agree. Loot and extras.
Loot and extras, so the resource carryover mechanism, I feel, bleeds into this. This is an extra kind of area. And the change up, the quirky changes ups of the maps where you like go in at the morning, it's, bright, fresh morning kind of thing. You go there at night and there's a fucking nightclub going on, or, it's like there's a whole arcade setup that's now occurring. And you're like,
he's basically just having a blowout every night.
Yeah, which in a weird way, it's like, okay, so this weird company has established a base on this island. Time is resetting. They're doing scientific experiments, and there's some weird guy off on some part of the island making a video game kind of or a robot. You're like, what the hell
basically
is going on
just paid
here?
to be there.
Yeah, well, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. It was sort of had a tongue-in-cheek element of it that I felt didn't quite fit with the tone of the game at times. I don't know.
I get you. The final scene in this game is really, really good.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. So that's an extra for me. I won't give any spoilers, but it's just a really good cutscene where you have to make a decision. I know my decision. It was very quick.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, also loot. You found gold guns. When you were able to, ascertain different codes for different safes and doors, you did. There was good loot behind them. It was never disappointing. It was never a fucking shield at the top of a mountain like Breath of the Wild did so often. Like, it was always a really good weapon that you could use in perpetuity. So from a loot perspective, I thought really strong as well. There's only so much you can do with a kind of roguelike, finite amount of areas in terms of the amount of loot that you can have and rewards that you can give players. But I thought they did it pretty well. Like, all round, like, this is a game that it's just a well-made, well-polished, knew what it was game.
Yeah. I think it's one of those ones where it's like, I had it on my shelf for so long that there were so many other games that would come out that would just go above it in my interest to play it. And Deathloop kept kind of falling down the ranks of, I wanted to give this a go. But if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're finished the Elden Ring DLC, you're waiting for Wukong to come out, you're not wanting to play Star Wars, and you're like, look, I want to have a quick game that I can sink my teeth into until the next thing comes out. Sure, I would say this is worthy.
And I also think for an evening gamer, this is a great game because every time I'd stop playing Deathloop, I'd just write down the next thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like the next area, the next person that I wanted to investigate. And it's easy to do a run through. You pick up the controller, you know where you're going, you know what area, what level, and you can kind of just go. Like, there's no load time. You don't have to get to a particular place. Like, you're not leveling up per se. You're just taking your upgrades and off you go.
Yeah.
So like for an evening game, it's a fucking perfect game. If you only have 40 minutes to game, Deathloop's a great one. It's a great one. You could do 2 run-throughs, really.
I'd agree with you for the most part. I think I probably wouldn't say it's one that like you could put 40 minutes into. I found myself at times being like, I want to go to bed, but I want to finish this area and see out the day kind of thing, and maybe.
But that's good. That means it's kind of addictive.
Yes,
addictive.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
and plus, not everyone was exploring every single driveway.
That's
run through. Let's do ratings.
Okay, storyline, world building. I've given it an 8.5.
I gave it a 7.5.
Wow. Okay.
Should I meet you in the middle and go an 8?
Let's go 8. Yeah.
I just think that
now I've got Ben in my head going, I'm too fucking generous.
I think that you're right. Whilst you only have 4 areas in these different times of day, that does box you into a particular kind of space where you can't have too much creative freedom. But I think they did it well, so I didn't mark it down too much.
No,
but
I mean, not in the storyline world building.
You fall on your own sword there.
Really. Yeah, I think the interesting thing of it being the same areas and different times of day, the difference comes in different weapons, how you approach it, and the different slabs. The slabs are the things that really change up the gameplay.
And I also like a storyline that's easy to pick up. This one is super easy to pick up.
Yeah, I would I think generally the world building was easy to pick up, but it was more just like the threads.
Yeah,
that was why the UI was so intensive, because you'd see this map of it's like all the various visionaries. There's 8 visionaries, all the weapons, and you're like, how does this go together with this? And you're reading these fucking tidbits trying to figure it out. But generally, I agree with you. Yes, feel mechanics. I gave this a 9.2. So I gave it 7.5.
Okay, that's quite a substantial
variance. So I think maybe we should box me into picking which pillar am I putting my the replayability negative into. Is it feel mechanics or is it challenge entertainment? Let's maybe call it the entertainment side, because I got to a point where I wasn't entertained anymore.
See, for me, by the time, I don't know how many play hours this took me. I would say maybe 30. I reckon, probably, to get through Deathloop. By the time I'd finished it, I was an absolute master of the movement tech.
Yeah.
Just getting headshots, using different weapons, the upgrades, the movement tech, jumping from, rooftop to rooftop. It was all really nice. It flowed nicely. It worked well on the controller. The button mapping was great. So when I think of all of that, it's got to be in the 9s. So I'll bring it down to a 9, but I think that's a fair representation.
Okay, so I'll put my replayability negative in the challenge and entertainment sector.
Well, let's do it. Challenge and entertainment.
7.5.
I'll agree with that. Nothing groundbreaking, but an all-round pretty fun game.
Yeah.
Beautiful character development and build.
9.5.
Okay, I gave this an 8.
Well, this was the one that we gave quite high because of the slabs, the weapons, the attachments.
Yeah, it was done really nicely, wasn't it? Like, yeah, you really can't do more in that space than they did.
That's like, to be honest, that is the pin-up game of what I kind of want. Of give me different attachments to my weapons, give me a variety of weapons, give me a variety of skills, and give me a variety of attachments to those skills,
and make it easy.
Yeah, and make it palatable to kind of put it all together and upgrade.
Agreed. Loot and extras.
A 9. I think I gave it just because of the resource, the changes of the level. I feel like there was a lot of lore, that was actually kind of pretty interesting of why this world operates the way it does.
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think a 9 is a little bit generous there. I think there were some really good loot pieces in terms of discovery. That's definitely an extras for me. The final scene at the end of the game as well, that's a bit of an extra for me.
Okay. So drum roll, what does it come out to?
8.5.
8.5, okay.
I think it's pretty fair, to be honest.
Fair,
I would recommend this game to anyone. That brings it between Cyberpunk and Lords of the Fallen. So Cyberpunk got an 8.26 and Lords of the Fallen got an 8.56. So right in there,
okay,
we slot in Deathloop.
I'm just sort of hearing Cyberpunk. I'm like, oh, geez, did we do Cyberpunk a bit too ruthlessly? But I feel like we marked it down almost because of what it started at.
Also, Deathloop got things so much better than the upgrades.
Off the jump, it was better, more polished game.
I mean, like sometimes less is more, and Deathloop did less is more so well. Yeah. Cyberpunk just went fucking everything, just put it all in.
Well, yeah, I mean, they put everything in and didn't do anything well.
Exactly. Like sometimes having a lot of stuff can be a downfall, especially if you don't use half of it.
Yeah, I would say Deathloop did a lot, but did a lot well. That's probably, it's faultless in that area. This is probably more my way of playing games and less a negative on the game itself. Yeah, is I think how I'd class this one.
I did have a question, but we're at 40 minutes. What do you reckon?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you had a question, we can do it. But Returnal was the game that I was thinking of before.
I thought that, but I thought that was going to be an obvious one, so I didn't say it.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't.
That is very much loopy.
Very loopy.
Loopy.
But very good loop story stuff. Very good game. Yeah. Highly rate that one. But yeah, hit me with a question. We got a bit.
Well, it was one that we discussed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Do you ever think there'll come a time where you stop gaming?
Well, yeah. I mean, like,
whatever it might be, you might move. I don't know. You might have kids. Well,
I think even at the moment, I'm struggling because it's like you got your day job, you want to go to the gym, you come home, you're going to make dinner, and then you're just like, fuck, what have I got?
But there are some nights as well that you sacrifice those other things for the hobby of gaming.
So at the moment, I've lent more on the side of I'm not sacrificing to game. So I was pleased the other day that I was playing Alan Wake 2, and my partner was able to watch me play that. It was nice, as composed
every now and then
usually.
I'll get a ping on my phone that you've logged into Microsoft or Xbox, and I'm like, oh, God, guys on.
We aren't playing the same game, though. But I just think it's really written into me of like, if you're playing solo a game, sometimes these games are not fun to watch if you're not playing. If you're not sitting there with a controller in your hand, not many people go, I'm content watching you play this game. It's got to be an interesting story-driven game to make a person go, I'll sit here and watch you play and interact with that and enjoy it. So I think at the moment it is tough, but it will, as you get older, it's always harder. Talk about Ben, you get kids in the mix. That's the hardest one. There's that bracket from 0 to 12, where the kid's probably not going to want to play at all until maybe then you can fucking start running trios with your kids.
I agree. For me, I don't think I'll ever stop gaming. It just depends in what form I continue doing it. I think I'll always find a way to continue gaming.
Well, I think
even if it's just like playing chess, I think everything eventually becomes a game.
Yeah.
Like how often are you at work and everyone's like, let's make this entertaining, and all of a sudden you've basically built a game. Drinking games, everything's a game in the end.
Well, yeah, I think, and specifically us, we're in sales, we're very competitive people.
But you're right as well. I think that who knows what gaming looks like for you in the future? It might be like just every Friday night from midnight to 2 a.m.
One thing I'd sort of want to pitch to our listeners is I've started compiling of a list of the games that I didn't complete, that I either bought or downloaded and just pied off at a certain stage.
My list is pretty long.
Well, it's actually, when you put it into a list, it is quite telling. You almost, by the games that you decided to play and not play, you end up with knowing what is the style of game that you really enjoy.
True. Is your plan to go back through this list and finish them off, or are you just like, nah?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
But
definitive.
In a rant episode, I do want to discuss this in greater detail and go into the various games, and sort of go, why did we drop those ones? Because I think your list and my list, there'll be a number that there could be a crossover with.
And there probably is.
And I think for a lot of our listeners, you'll have so many people going, what?
How did you not finish that?
Play that game? What's wrong with you?
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Hey, write in and tell us what your relationship with gaming is like.
Yeah.
When do you game?
Well, yeah,
when can you game? How do you make it work?
We'd love to hear it. Like if you quit a day of work or call in sick or something to have a whole day of gaming, we've all done it. But what game made you call in sick that you gave it to? Have you sacrificed a sick day, download the game and be like, fuck, I wasted that day?
Or you book an annual leave day way in advance because it's dropping on that day. I've done that.
Yeah, I think a lot of
I've done that for sure. I'm going to do that for GTA 6. 100%.
Yeah.
Might be a whole week. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, well, I'd agree with you on that one. That game is worthy of a few days off for sure.
100%. Don't be an NPC.
Keep leveling up.
Thanks, everyone.